I'm about to say something controversial. DJI just made action cameras obsolete, including their own. Yeah, you heard that right. The Action 6 doesn't just compete with GoPro anymore. It's coming for vlog cameras, and I've got receipts. But here's what nobody's talking about. There's one feature buried in the settings that'll save you literal hours every single week, and I guarantee 90% of people who buy this will never turn it on. Stick around because at the 8-minute mark, I'm revealing why the $50 accessory nobody's hyping might actually be the secret weapon for your content. And if you're choosing between this and literally any other action camera right now, the comparison at the 11-minute mark will make your decision crystal clear. So, what makes the Action 6 different? Here's the thing. Every year we get new action cameras with marginally better specs, slightly improved stabilization, maybe a processor bump. Cool, boring, predictable. But DJI did something I've never seen before in this space. And honestly, when I first heard about it, I thought it was gimmicky. I thought it was a solution looking for a problem. I was completely wrong. Let me show you why. The square sensor revelation. Remember the days of shooting your content twice? Horizontal for YouTube, then flip the camera, reframe everything, and shoot vertical for Instagram and TikTok? Yeah, those days just ended. The Action 6 has a square sensor. Not a traditional 16:9 rectangle, but an actual square 1-inch sensor. And before you roll your eyes thinking, who cares about sensor shapes? Let me blow your mind with what this actually means for your workflow. Watch this. I'm in the camera settings right now, and there's an option called Custom Aspect Ratio. When I activate this, the camera starts recording from the entire square sensor. Look at the screen. You see those overlay markers? That's showing me both the 16:9 horizontal frame and the 9:16 vertical frame simultaneously, which means right now, as I'm recording this one clip, I'm actually capturing both a YouTube video and an Instagram reel at the same time. No cropping, no quality loss, no reshooting. Let's do the math on this for a second. If you're a content creator publishing 5 pieces of content per week, maybe 3 YouTube videos and 2 short-form vertical videos, and each one takes you about 10 minutes to shoot and another 5 minutes to crop and reframe for different platforms. That's 75 minutes per week. Multiply that by 52 weeks, and you're looking at 65 hours per year. The Action 6 just gave you back almost 3 full days of your life, and that's being conservative. For someone creating daily content, you're looking at hundreds of saved hours annually. But here's the part that actually surprised me during testing. The creative freedom this unlocks is insane. I don't have to think about composition anymore. I'm not stressed about keeping everything centered for vertical while maintaining proper framing for horizontal. I just shoot, and I decide in post whether this moment works better as a reel, a YouTube short, or a full horizontal video. That mental load reduction, that's the real game changer nobody's quantifying yet. Sensor size supremacy. Now, let's talk about why this sensor isn't just square. It's also one of the largest sensors in any action camera on the market right now. We're talking about a 1/1.1-inch sensor. That's a significant jump from the Action 5 Pro's 1/1.3-inch sensor. This is legitimately bigger than what you'll find in the latest GoPro Hero 13 Black, bigger than most competitors in this space. And it's the same sensor size DJI uses in their Osmo 360 camera. Why does sensor size matter? 3 words: light, detail, dynamic range. Larger sensors capture more light, which means when you're shooting in challenging conditions, maybe golden hour when you've got bright skies and dark shadows, or indoor environments, or even just cloudy, overcast days, this camera is gathering significantly more image information than smaller sensors can manage. The result? Your footage looks less noisy, colors are more accurate, and you're not getting that muddy, compressed look in the shadows that plagues smaller action cameras. I tested this head-to-head against my GoPro Hero 12, and the difference in low-light scenarios is immediately noticeable. Same scene, same settings, same time of day. The Action 6 is pulling detail out of shadows that the GoPro is rendering as near black. And in bright conditions, those highlights aren't blowing out as easily. You're getting usable footage in situations where traditionally you'd need to break out a bigger camera. Plus, this thing shoots 4K at 120 frames per second. That's buttery smooth slow motion from a camera that fits in your pocket. You're capturing cinema-quality movement with a device that you can literally drop in water, throw in your bag, or mount to your helmet. And for stills, it captures stunning 38-megapixel photos, or 8K resolution stills in 16:9 aspect ratio. The gap between action camera footage and professional camera footage is narrowing fast, and the Action 6 is leading that charge. We're at a point now where the question isn't, is the quality good enough? It's, do I really need to carry anything bigger than this? Speed demon performance. Alright, here's a scenario that'll resonate if you've ever done action sports or just tried to capture spontaneous moments. You're out there, something incredible is about to happen. You reach for your camera, you hit the power button, and then you wait, and the moment passes. We've all been there. The frustration of missing a shot because your gear wasn't ready is absolutely maddening. Watch this. The Action 6 is completely off right now. I'm pressing the power button, and it's on. I'm talking less than a second from completely powered down to ready to record. Now I'm hitting the record button, and we're capturing. This is the fastest boot-to-record time I've experienced on any action camera. Period. I tested this against 3 competitors, and the Action 6 consistently beat them all by multiple seconds. And here's another brilliant feature. When you stop recording, the camera automatically powers down after 3 seconds. So you're not draining battery when you're not actively shooting, but the moment you need to capture something, you're back in action instantly. For action sports, skateboarding, mountain biking, surfing, skiing, where the window to capture something is measured in seconds, this responsiveness is absolutely crucial. You're not fumbling with menus. You're not waiting for the system to wake up. You're just shooting. Variable aperture breakthrough. Here's something we've genuinely never seen before in an action camera. A variable aperture. Yes, you heard that correctly. The Action 6 is the world's first action camera with a variable aperture, letting you adjust from f/2 to f/4. Now, if you're thinking, why would I care about aperture control on an action camera? Let me explain why. This is actually genius engineering, and not just a spec sheet flex. Traditional action cameras have a fixed aperture, which means they're optimized for one lighting condition, and everything else is a compromise. Too much light? The camera compensates with faster shutter speeds or lower ISO, which can introduce other issues. Not enough light? You're cranking up the ISO and getting noisy footage. The variable aperture solves this elegantly by giving the camera another tool in its exposure arsenal. Here's how I've been using it. There's an auto mode where the camera intelligently switches between apertures based on your environment. When I walk indoors or it's getting dark, the aperture automatically opens to f2, letting in maximum light for clean, bright footage. When I step outside into bright sunlight, it stops down to f2.8 or f4, which not only prevents overexposure, but also gives you the benefit of increased depth of field and sharper images across the frame. And that f/4 setting has a secret weapon. It enables a starburst effect on bright light sources. You know that cinematic look where streetlights and reflections get those nice, pointed rays? That's traditionally been the domain of cinema cameras with specific lens designs. Now you can get it straight out of an action camera. Is it a feature you'll use every day? Probably not. But when you want that look for a night scene or creative shot, having the option is pretty incredible. The practical takeaway here is simple. The Action 6 is adapting to your environment in ways that make your footage consistently better without you having to think about it. You're not a professional cinematographer constantly monitoring exposure? Perfect. Just set it to auto variable aperture from f/2 to f/4. And the camera handles the technical stuff while you focus on capturing the moment. That's what action cameras should do. Make great footage easy, not complicated. Accessory game changers. Now let's talk about the accessory ecosystem, because this is where the Action 6 starts flexing beyond traditional action camera territory. DJI included 2 additional lenses with certain bundles, and these aren't just gimmicky add-ons, they're genuinely useful creative tools that expand what this camera can do. First up, the macro lens. You unscrew the standard front lens element, it's a simple twist-off system, and attach this pretty substantial macro lens. Minimum focus distance drops to just 11 centimeters, which means you can get insanely close-up shots of details, textures, products, whatever you're trying to showcase. Now, I'll be honest, this macro lens is chunky, and the focus ring is stiff when you first get it. I actually prefer adjusting it off the camera because it's genuinely hard to rotate smoothly. DJI, if you're listening, a click-stop mechanism like actual camera lenses would be a massive improvement here. But despite that handling quirk, the image quality from the macro lens is impressive. You can shoot both photos and videos, and there are settings for portrait and landscape orientation built into the lens itself. You physically rotate the ring to switch modes. For product reviews, food content, nature close-ups, or any scenario where you want that dramatic macro perspective, this lens delivers. And because it's a first-party DJI accessory, it's properly weather-sealed and maintains the camera's ruggedness, which you can't always say about third-party adapters. The second accessory is the boost lens, and this is where things get wild. This lens pushes the field of view to 182 degrees. We're talking ultra-wide, immersive, point-of-view footage that makes viewers feel like they're right there with you. If you're doing first-person perspectives, Helmet cams, chest mounts, anything where you want to show the full scope of the environment, the boost lens is phenomenal. It just attaches magnetically to the front, and suddenly you've transformed the camera's perspective entirely. And speaking of magnetic attachments, can we appreciate how good DJI's mounting system is? Forget fumbling with screws and threads. Everything clicks on magnetically with a satisfying snap, and it's secure enough that I've never had anything accidentally detached during active shooting. Plus, with the Action 6, you can now attach these mounts in either orientation, which wasn't possible on previous models. It's a small quality-of-life improvement that makes a real difference when you're quickly repositioning the camera between shots. The magnetic ecosystem means you can swap from handheld to helmet mount to chest rig in literal seconds. Efficiency matters when you're out in the field. Audio integration mastery. Let's address something most action camera reviews gloss over: audio. Because here's the reality. Great footage with terrible audio is unusable content, and traditional action cameras have notoriously struggled with audio quality because, well, they're designed to be small, rugged, and often encased in protective housings that muffle sound. DJI took a completely different approach with their Osmo audio system, and it's honestly one of the smartest implementations I've seen. Right now, you're hearing the internal microphone on the Action 6. It's decent, certainly usable for ambient sound and basic recording. But watch what happens when I connect DJI's wireless microphones. These transmitters pair directly with the camera, no receiver needed, no cables, no adapters. You literally turn them on, and they connect automatically. The audio switches seamlessly, and now I'm getting broadcast-quality wireless sound directly into the camera with zero additional setup. This is game-changing for content creators. If you're doing talking head content, interviews, vlogs, anything where clear dialogue matters, you're getting professional audio without the traditional hassle of dual-system recording and syncing in post. Everything's baked right into the same file. And here's the kicker. You can connect two wireless mics simultaneously. So, if you're interviewing someone or doing a two-person vlog, both of you can have lavalier mics, and the camera is capturing both audio channels independently. Compare this to the traditional action camera workflow. You'd be recording audio separately on your phone or a dedicated recorder, shooting video on your action camera, then spending time in editing software syncing everything up, hoping you clapped loud enough at the start to create a sync point. That workflow is tedious and time-consuming. The Osmo audio system eliminates all of that. You shoot, you're done, your audio and video are already perfectly synchronized because they were recorded together. For anyone creating narrative content, tutorials, reviews, or any situation where spoken word is crucial, this audio integration alone might be worth choosing the Action 6 over competitors with technically comparable video specs but inferior audio solutions. Content quality isn't just about resolution and frame rates. Clear professional audio is half the equation, and DJI has actually solved this problem elegantly. The final verdict. So let's cut through the marketing and get to the real question. Who should actually buy the DJI Action 6? And is it worth the investment? I'm going to give you the straight answer with real context. If you're choosing between the Action 6 and something like the GoPro Hero 13, here's the honest breakdown. The GoPro has better waterproofing if you need to go deeper than 20 meters regularly, and it has slightly better integration with third-party accessories simply because it's been the market leader for longer. But the Action 6 counters with a genuinely larger sensor that produces noticeably better image quality, especially in challenging light. It has that revolutionary square sensor for dual-format recording that'll save you hours of editing time. It has variable aperture, which GoPro doesn't offer. And it has the best color science of any action camera I've tested. That D-Log-M profile is gorgeous and gives you so much flexibility in post-production. Now, if you already own the Action 5 Pro, is this worth upgrading? That's tougher. The Action 5 Pro is still an excellent camera, but you're getting that larger sensor here. The variable aperture system, support for the macro and boost lenses, and the dual orientation magnetic mounting. If you're a professional content creator who publishes regularly across multiple formats, the workflow improvements alone could justify the upgrade. If you're a hobbyist who shoots occasionally, maybe wait for a sale or stick with your Action 5 Pro for another year. Here's something nobody else is telling you. The Action 6 has legitimately replaced my DJI Pocket 3 for certain shooting scenarios. Yeah, the Pocket 3 has that gimbal smoothness, but the Action 6 is more rugged, more versatile with lens options, has better battery life, and honestly, produces comparable image quality with the right settings. If I'm going somewhere rough, hiking, traveling, anywhere I might drop or damage gear, I'm grabbing the Action 6 over the Pocket 3 every time. It's more capable than DJI's own vlog camera in many situations, which is kinda wild. The durability factor cannot be overstated. I've dropped this thing on concrete multiple times during testing. Not on purpose, I'm just clumsy. Not a scratch, not a crack. It keeps working. The lens is replaceable if you somehow do damage it, which is brilliant design thinking. I've taken it in water, in dust, in sand, in extreme temperature changes, and it just works. This is legitimately built to survive the conditions where you'd actually use an action camera, which seems obvious, but isn't always the case with consumer electronics. Bottom line, if you need an action camera right now and you're choosing between everything available on the market, the DJI Action 6 is the best overall package. It's got the sensor, the features, the ecosystem, the image quality, and the workflow advantages that make it worth the investment. Is it perfect? No. I wish the macro lens ring was smoother, I wish it had maybe one more hour of battery life, and I wish the price was a bit lower. But no camera is perfect, and the Action 6's strengths far outweigh its minor weaknesses. For content creators, travelers, action sports enthusiasts, or anyone who needs genuinely high-quality footage in a compact, durable package, this is the one. And if you're serious about creating content across multiple platforms without doubling your shooting time, that square sensor feature alone is worth the price of admission. Welcome to the future of action cameras. It's square, it's fast, and it's absolutely worth your attention. If this video helped you make a decision, hit that like button and subscribe because I've got a full comparison video coming next week where I'm putting the Action 6 head-to-head against the GoPro Hero 13 and the Insta360 Ace Pro with side-by-side footage so you can see the real differences yourself. Drop a comment and tell me what camera you're using right now and whether you're considering an upgrade. And if you pick up the Action 6, let me know what you think. I read every comment and respond to as many as possible. I'll see you in the next one.